Howdy everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Debauchery Circus campaign here on the Random Rhapsody Network. I'm Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and GM, and joining me around my virtual table today are Stephen, Jr., Brie, and Brandie. Say hi, everyone.
Hello.
Happy.
Now, we do not have a whole lot of announcements going on, other than the fact that we are back from our winter break. We have the Debauchery Circus at 3 p.m., the Fab 5 at 5 p.m., or 7 p.m. on Mondays, and then Random Game Night on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. as well. Other than that, the only thing I want to say is that Random Rhapsody here very much 100% supports an open D&D. So, we're going to continue to play our games as much as we can. If things switch up and we have to change, hey, we're fine with that. We're still going to continue to tell our stories here on this network and have our fun. So that's all there is to say about that, other than you can keep up to date on our schedule and everything we're doing by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV and on Twitter as @random_Rhapsody. Okay? So join us now as we dive into the world of Loroupa and continue on with the adventures of the Debauchery Circus. And we're back. So when we last left off, the Debauchery Circus had agreed to take on a special assignment from the Erudite Conclave to determine the full extent of how far the Cult of the Dreamer had infiltrated the Church of the Five Gods. To accomplish this task, the team was transported to Rani Vika, where they joined senior field researcher Tomas Rothen, to infiltrate the convent, where Ivek Abir, who is the leader of the Church of the Five and also a very high-ranking member of the Cult of the Dreamer, where she spent her formative years. Inside the convent, Blaznir, Lapis, and Tommas were confronted by not only the tedious lives of the nuns and residents there, but also the strange discrepancies among the followers. It soon became clear to the trio that the worship being done in the convent was not towards the god they claimed to serve. While that was going on, Ichabod and Cameron entered the Temple of Jorun, claiming to be pilgrims seeking to learn more about the god's practices and teachings. They conducted an investigation of their own on the head priest there, even going so far as to sneak into the man's chamber during evening mass to examine his belongings. But while their companions found some disturbing information during their day, Cameron found that there was nothing that could incriminate the priest at the temple himself. And so, Debauchery Circus, your two groups had two very different experiences for your sunset masses. At the temple, Corin and Ichabod theirs was a much more traditional thing, filled with hymns, prayer, study, a baptism, the whole shebang. At the convent, however, Blaznir and Lapis, you were subjected to yet another bizarre service that mostly praised the great wisdom and the all-seeing one. Both services end in good order, and once the Temple of Jorun is emptied of the townspeople who are in attendance, Corin and Ichabod, you are invited by the monks to dine with them. while Blaznir, Lapis, and Tommas are taken to the nuns' dining hall for your own meals. So as you are all heading off for your evening meal, a question comes to each of your minds. And that question is, if your group had found out that you had become like a vampire, a zombie, or whatever, and a cure wasn't an option, what would you want them to do? And Ichabod, since you're the one who rolled, why don't you go ahead and go first?
I don't want to be a burden to anybody, and if I ain't in control of my faculties, you ought to put me out of my misery. Like a lame horse.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I doubt you would want to be burdened with, the whole evilness
I don't
side of that either.
To God.
Yeah, no, I dig it. Okay. Corin, how about you?
It kind of depends. If we're talking a mindless undead, then yeah, you could probably just destroy me because that's really not me anymore. If we're talking an undead that actually has like all of their mental capacities and everything and can make their own decisions, then I'd mostly say just don't accidentally divine smite me in the bedroom. And make sure that I don't go off and try and do something stupid like using time magic to reverse time to reverse my condition.
Or eat the flesh of another being, or drink their blood or something.
I mean, there's,
There's probably vampire fanboys out there who would totally be like, bite me, daddy.
Bite me, Vladdy.
Go out and find Fontaine. He would not be yours anymore. Sorry.
Wow. Well, Blaznir, how about you?
I kind of agree with Corin. It depends on what type of undead I am. Like, a vampire or a lich, I'm fine with, and, just don't bother me at that point. But if I'm like a zombie, then, yeah, just murder me. make sure there's no trace of me left, but...
Okay.
Incinerate
you, yeah. Okay. Lapis, how about you?
I feel like Lapis wouldn't want to become evil. So yeah, if that's the possibility, if that's where she's headed, she'd want to be put out.
Okay. So for the most part, knock me off if I'm going that way, but for a couple of you, well, as long as my brain's still working.
I mean, hey, for Lapis, think about it this way. If you don't have to eat or sleep anymore, you could become the best martial artist ever because you could train 24/7.
But the evilness. Some people consider eating other people's flesh to be evil.
What? No.
Okay.
Unless.
All we do is murder.
But I can justify that in my mind.
All we do is win, no matter what.
Okay. Well, Debauchery Circus, Corin and Ichabod, you are given a hearty meal of stew, dark bread, and plenty more of that heady beer that the monks brew. Throughout the dinner, the monks converse amiably amongst themselves, while Brother Butters regales you both with stories of the fine work that their order does throughout the city. Ministering to the common people of Ranivika, taking their confessions, helping the poor, that sort of thing. Now, as for Blaznir, Lapis, and Tommas, your own meals are actually rather similar. Yours is a thick vegetable stew harvested from the gardens, some very crusty rye bread, and a very thick and sweet mead to wash it down. Conversation is more animated in the nuns' dining hall now that the day's work is complete. As novices here at the convent, you're talked to, like, you're talked down to a lot, like, whenever someone wants you to give them something or kind of orders you around a little bit. And there is a lot of talk about what you have to do throughout the day and that sort of thing. But other than that, since you are novices, you're pretty much ignored unless someone actively wants you to do something. So, with that in mind, what are you all wanting to do first?
Well, I know Corin and I were promised a tour of the nunnery on this day.
Okay. If you were to ask about that now that the dinner's over, the head priest who's sitting there at the table with you all eating, he's, oh yes, that's right. I did speak with the Reverend Mother earlier today, and she said that she would not be opposed to allowing the two of you to come in after midday services for a tour. She will be free at that point.
That sounds amicable to me.
Very, very well. Services are in the morning, afternoon, and evening for both here at the temple and at the convent as well. You are free to spend whatever time you wish tomorrow. If you wish to remain here in the temple and study, you are certainly welcome to do so. If you have any other business throughout town, feel free. Our doors are open to you.
Sounds good. Do y'all have a large library of sorts that we can study in?
We do indeed. It is on the second floor. Oh, wait a minute, no, it's on this floor, actually. It's right down the hall to the left. Brother Butters here will be happy to show it to you if you wish to spend your evening there.
Sounds good to me. I thank you for your hospitality, sir.
As for
good beer too.
it is pretty damn good beer. You know, monks.
My notes from last time that it was great beer, spiced with cardamom, and they make mead as well.
They do, which is what the nuns are currently sipping on right now. Now, as for Blaznir and Lapis, you're both with Tommas there in the dining hall. Do you all sit together throughout the meal? Do you kind of spread out a little bit? What were you doing throughout the evening?
I feel like I would have sat with Blaznir.
Okay. Okay. And during that time, like, I'm just wondering, because your jobs are to infiltrate this nunnery, find out what's going on. How much interacting do you do with the nuns there? Do you spend your time or being quiet and listening? Do you try to engage anybody in conversation? I
would definitely like try to engage in some at least casual conversation at first, and kind of easing into some of the questions that we have. You know, just kind of get a feel for how they react towards those type of questionings.
Like, what are you what kind of questions are you wanting to ask?
I don't know.
Hey, how about that baptism earlier today?
They weren't.
Tell you about the time that I put red food coloring in one of them just to freak everybody out.
Also, I think the baptism happened.
Yeah.
With us.
Yes.
But ask them about, like, well, all the teachings have been kind of about something, you know. This is unlike any teachings of the what's his name, Jorun, that I've ever heard before.
What do the teachings of your god say about self-gratification?
Well, these are the times that Blaznir and Lapis, the two of you, if you want to try to talk to the nuns, you can, if you have specific questions. If not, you can just kind of, if there's something specifically that you want to ask, you can just make a perception check to kind of gauge and listen into the conversations that's going on around you as well.
I'll be listening out. do this perception check, see what everyone's talking about.
Okay.
Oh, that's bad for me. Wow. 18.
I love the fact that 18 is bad for you.
I rolled a 5. Like, ugh.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah. So, and just for Lapis, go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
That is a 14.
Okay. So, Blaznir, you spend most of your time in your meal more listening in, trying to hear what it is the nuns are really talking about. And there is a couple things that pique your interest. Most of the conversation is just, general chatter, things they found out in the garden, conversations with one another, what that one dumb nun did earlier today. Simple things like that, One thing that pops up in a conversation you hear between the Reverend Mother and one of the acolytes there, Sister Mary Robert. The two of them are have their heads together. They're kind of going back and forth. But Blaznir, you've always been an extremely perceptive guy, and you hear the names that you gave them being discussed. They say that I can't remember what they were, but I remember they were all M names. Anyway, Margaret and I don't remember. But anyway, the thing that's important about that is you hear your three names being mentioned, and then you kind of peek up and listen, and you hear her saying, "Yes, I think that we should bring them in and perform their baptism. Oh, let's give them another day or two, just see how they interact with everybody, how well they follow their duties and their tasks. But I see no reason why we can't, as long as nothing is amiss, we can bring them in for that here." And the Reverend Mother is kind of nodding. This was Mary Robert that was talking about that. That's right. Blaznir is Miranda. Lapis is Mildred. Tommas is Margaret. So Mary Robert is saying that that in a couple days, your group is probably will be ready for their baptismal, and the Reverend Mother, she kind of nods and she's like, "Okay, And what of the tall one, the one that Mary Clarence said was a little strange?" And Mary Robert, the nun, replies, "Well, why do you ask this, Reverend Mother? What?" And the Reverend Mother replies, I had a moment to converse with her out on the grounds, and her questions were very interesting, especially about the tree. Have you gotten any more about her background? And their chatter continue on for a few minutes of basically the Mary Roberts saying, "No, I haven't had much time to interact with them. They were on chore duty for the most part, but perhaps tomorrow afternoon she'll sit down with Miranda and try to get to the bottom of what it was that Mary Clarence felt was off."
Fun.
The other thing you hear, because you still have a decently high number. You hear
Higher.
it could have been a lot higher. Yeah. But the other thing that you hear is you notice that Tommas has been sitting apart from you. He's actually at one of the other tables down at the far end, and you see you hear your name, Miranda, being spoken, and you look back and you see Tommas, who's in a female gnome form in her nun habits, and his eyes flicker and go over to a group at the far end of your table. You glance over at that, and you see one of them pull out from her robe a small necklace with a little amulet on it. And she's kind of, her head's down next to another one of those nuns. And you pick up the words, you pick up the words, key to below.
Key to below.
Key to below. And then she drops it back down into her robes.
Basement access, perhaps?
Key to below me.
Lapis, you try to engage in some conversation with the nuns that are sitting there across from you. Just give me a little bit of what did you have you decided? Did you have any specific questions you wanted to ask, or are you just asking more about like the convent itself?
Kind of more about the convent and what their beliefs are, and you know what they think. I guess where they're wanting their future to go towards something. I don't know.
Hey, where's your secret hideout?
Yeah, sure. No, I'm not gonna ask that.
I mean, if that's what you want to ask, I mean.
No, I just want to, like I said, I just want to kind of skirt around. I don't want to ask them straight up, hey, you guys doing some shady shit here.
I feel like it's normal to point out, like, oh, this is unlike any, Church of Jorun I've been to. Like,
or even just something like, what do you see as the future of this faith?
That's some big questions.
Yeah, like what's...
What do you want to do with your life? Do you ever dream?
Yeah. You just want to get her whole backstory in real quick. Yeah. I imagine. So, with your 14, you spend the time trying to sit there and talk to them a little bit, and you bring up the matter of that this is very much unlike other temples of Jorun you've been to, and the nun replies that, well, each temple and each church practices their own ways to worship the five gods. I imagine that the way they worship in Radagast is so much different than what they do at the island of Jura, and so on and so forth. So we have our own unique practices and our own unique methods, but we all worship the same, the five gods. And she kind of smiles at you as she says that.
Maybe I want to also I don't know how to word this without coming out and flat out saying it, but like, why do they think this is the way they need to worship? Along those lines. Why specifically is it this way?
What makes your way better than everybody else's?
Sure. Go ahead and give me one more persuasion check.
That's an 8.
Yeah. So unfortunately, as you ask that, the nun replies, "Oh well, this is the way that high priestess, and then the one next to her kind of shoves her a little bit, and she says, "This is the way that we've always worshipped here at this temple. It's but the practices we do have been passed down since the founding of this convent over 700 years ago."
I'm going to make note of that. And make sure to point out that whole interaction to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything either of you, or is there anything that you would like to specifically ask beyond that, or is that kind of it?
I don't want to push too much further either, because I feel like that may be a little bit getting close to too much mark.
Okay.
So I just don't want to arouse suspicion of us.
You should ask her an innocuous question about just her life, so you can become her best friend. Just girl talk.
You can certainly try if you want to.
Any cute boys lately?
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
Read any good books lately? No. No.
Where do you keep your porn stash?
Or people love to help. So if you're like, well, do you think that you could help me get the hang of this?
Yeah, there you go. Maybe
I'll
do that.
Dress up as a lady.
No, that's good though. Kind of. You think you could maybe help me out here a little bit? I feel like I'm kind of struggling a tad bit.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna let you have one more persuasion check. Blaznir, are you doing anything during that time?
That's a 13, I believe.
Somehow, for some reason,
my chat's kind of cut off a little bit on here.
I
That's
full
weird.
screened and unfull screened the page to fix it.
Drinking contest.
Chugging those meats.
Get the nuns plastered.
Drinking contest.
Even if he was disguised as a woman, he'd be shoving beer down his gullet in the most disgusting way.
I see that. I totally see that.
Oh, how do we get the nuns to talk? Get them plastered.
Okay, so with the 13, you're asking this woman. I'm having a bit of hard time here understanding everything. You think you could help me out here? And with your 13, she tells you, oh, very well. If you're really that curious about why we do things the way we do things, after our morning prayers, I will be happy to take you over to the library and sit you down and begin teaching you a little bit. So, there you go.
Making friends.
Making friends, then I'll start asking more questions later.
There you go.
That's how you get them. This is an infiltration. We're gonna be here for days.
You actually can. You don't really have a timetable on this, so it's really up to you.
We should montage it.
Well, actually, if you all plan on going slowly and taking several days to kind of go through the place, we probably would be doing it as a montage.
Yeah, because I definitely want, I want it to seem true. This is true infiltration, not just, we're going to pop in for a few days, try to be really suspicious for 2 days.
Really? I was just waiting for the moment when you were like, when do we get to fight something?
I do really want to fight something, but that's when the plan goes wrong, and then we start fighting something.
Well, the plan will go wrong eventually.
The plan will go wrong. It's just a matter of time.
Well, with that in mind,
I also want to go flirt with some nuns.
want to go flirt with some nuns.
But yeah. Me and Corin are the perfect mix for these nuns, where I'm a big, tall, masculine guy, and he's a little Twinkie boy. So, whatever your type is.
Yep, and I'm the smart one, and Ichabod is
I'm a himbo.
there.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, after your meals, you're pretty much you have quite a bit of time left over. Not quite a bit of time, a good 3-4 hours left of your day, where you pretty much are given just the freedom to do whatever you want. For Blaznir, Lapis, and Tommas, as new recruits, you're told after the evening meal is over to clean up the kitchen and the dining room. So you three actually spend a good couple hours just cleaning up after everybody, then going into the kitchen, cleaning up the pots and pans, putting everything away, that sort of thing. Corin and Ichabod, you had asked to be led to the library. And there is a library on the ground floor, which I'll go ahead and move you all to right now. So if you just go out of there and go into there.
And the map is very dark to me. Should it be bright?
Well, it is evening, but I haven't put lights out yet, so I'm just going to do that.
That's perfect.
There you go. As for the two of you, yeah, you're led into a library filled with row upon row of books. They line the walls, and in the center there are 3 large tables with chairs that are just there for people to sit at and study. Making just a general investigation check. Like I don't really feel like you need to, because the books there are mostly on religion, history, politics, that sort of thing. Is there anything that specifically you're looking for during this time that I can help you out with? Other than that, you could just say you spent your evening reading about Jorun.
Well, first off, with a 27 will save, Corin manages to contain himself at the sight of this library.
Like shaking.
Oh yeah, the two of you just walk into there, being led by Brother Butters, and your mouth just drops, Corin, because it's not as big a library as what you have in Coltrast, but it's books. And lots of
Very
them.
nice.
So is Butters gonna hang out in here with us, or will he leave us?
What does Butters need to do for the rest of the day? He honestly doesn't have a whole lot that he needs to do. He was planning on just hanging out for a little bit and doing some reading of his own.
Butters is actually grounded.
Alright, I want to very, passively imply to Butters that I would like to have a moment to train my squire, and heavily imply that means that he needs to leave.
Okay, make a persuasion check.
Oh boy, I'm not very persuasive.
Oh.
I clicked the button.
Well, Corin is there. Corin, are you trying to do anything to help out?
Yeah, since I'm not distracted by the books, I will just sort of be over there, be like, whatever you wish, sir. I understand that your teaching methods are personal and private.
You can have advantage on it.
Alright. Yeah, my squire is he's notoriously unfocused, so it's important that he has total silence. Okay, persuasion.
Oh, gee, guys.
Get out.
So you see him, do the mutters, "Oh, hamburgers," and just okay, and wanders off with your 20.
Nice.
Okay, and then I'm like, well, Corin, frankly, it seems like they've got it locked up pretty tight here. So either the priests in this temple are unaware of the nunnery's connection to the cult, or they're just meant to be this facade and they've got it down pat.
How dumb would you have to be to ignore all of the signs from the nunnery?
Yeah, I feel like it's more likely that they are in on it and just keeping it a secret, which is very sad for me because I gotta be honest, I love this place. So I need you to keep my wits about me.
Yes,
So,
I understand.
I guess we can investigate here in the library, but I don't really expect to find anything. Because it seems like they've got all their dreamer iconography well hidden. But maybe we can search for secrets. Maybe there's like a bookshelf that moves out and a safe behind it or something like that. Secret tome. Locked away.
Yeah, you can certainly try.
Investigative type.
All right, can I give him a help action?
23.
Don't make me roll.
Yeah, you can give him the help action if you want to.
I sit on the table and I go, but did you look over there?
23 is still the highest one.
Try pulling that book out, see if it does anything.
So the two of you, now that you are alone in this library, you spend a good amount of time, a good hour or more, just slowly looking through everything, meticulously checking books, pulling them back, looking for hidden levers or things like that, because you've seen them before. You've seen them at in Coltrast. Nothing. You start looking in the drawers, underneath tables. You even go so far as to like lift bookshelves and look behind them. And there are walls there, and there's like windows that you can see out, and so you know that at least one of them is facing the outside. Definitely no trapdoors there. And you just keep going around and around, but you do not find any doors, any hidden boxes, anything really hidden at all.
One thing that I would like to mention is that obviously I'm going to let Ichabod do stuff like the heavy lifting of, bookshelves and things, but one thing that I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be checking the book titles to see if there's anything that just seems wildly out of place.
Okay. Writing the 23 that you have. There is one book that you do find that is slightly out of place. It's an old wizard's spell book. There's not a lot of spells in there. There's like first and second level spells, and as you're kind of looking through them, you're like, Jesus, I already know most of these. I wonder how this got in here. Glancing in the back of the book, you actually do find a name that is Rivden Drax. And you recognize the symbol behind it, or beneath it. It is it's a logo of the Twisting Spires. Chances are he purchased the book while either attending there or from when he was there.
Okay. Do I know anything about this guy? Have I heard any stories?
Make a history check.
Sure.
I just get distracted and start
16.
reading about
It's not familiar to you, unfortunately. Okay. You've been there. You were at the Twisting Spires a handful of years yourself, but you never met anybody with that name, and it's not really peaking. It's not like triggering anything.
That's fine.
Ichabod, yeah, you could easily find. There's a lot of books there. There's books on history. There's books on local politics. There's trying to think of the name.
After my my religious ecstasy of being baptized, I now have an interest in Jorun, whereas before I just kind of wrote him off. So now I'm like actually just reading a book to be educated.
Sure. And there are books specifically on Jorun and beliefs around that and ritual practices and that sort of thing.
And I say, Corin, you can have a little bit of theft as a treat if you want to take that spell book with you.
Yoink.
Yoink.
Okay, you're going to go ahead and pocket that. I'll give you a list of the spells in a little bit. Let's see. The major thing that you kind of pick up from reading about Jorun is Jorun's faith primarily revolves around the balance of one's soul and atonement for past transgressions. His mythology states that when a person dies, their soul first goes to Jorun, who then measures the soul's quality and decides where it's going to be sent. Those who are devout go to their god's kingdom to reside forever with their god. Those of good nature but without a god wander the plains of the ethereal. Those who are truly evil are sent to the abyss, and Jorun is the guardian of the abyss.
You know, actually, since we're in the library of Jorun, I do have one bit of research that I want to try and get answered.
Okay.
What the hell happened to me when I died?
Ooh, is it that he like forgot what he saw when he?
No, like it was like a blackness, and you know, I didn't really go anywhere.
So, this would probably be a religion check for you, Corin.
Sure.
Ooh, can I help?
Yeah, you can help.
I'm actually good at. Well, I'm a +4 in religion, so.
I have a +5.
Oh, wow, you're better at religion than me. I'm
14 on both.
14 on both. So, you start going through all these different books after you pocketed the one random spell book that you had found. And, Ichabod's helping, he's pulling out more books and finding passages for you to read. Most of what's written kind of echoes what I already told you, because it is a Temple of Jorun, so most of their books are going to kind of reiterate the same things over and over and over again. You know what confirmation bias is?
Yeah.
That's basically what you're finding here. All the books are on a very similar thread. Nothing describes what you saw. Like, specifically, every time you find a passage about what happens when you die in this religion, they all say the same thing. You go and you appear before the god Jorun. You have to. You see the door, you see the scales, you're weighed and measured, and Jorun decides what's going to happen from there. You, however, your memory isn't perfect about what happened when you died, but you do have those flashes and those images and the things you did see, which were massively, massively different. So with your 14, and with that information, I'm going to allow you just one straight insight check.
Sure.
What about me?
21. Hell yeah.
You can have one too, Ichabod, if you want.
Also 21.
Wow.
Nice.
So the two of you are sitting there and you're talking about this fact. I imagine you're at a table, there's piles of books all on the table, and you're going back and forth, and Corin's like, but this is what happened when I died. I physically saw this. And Ichabod, your side is, well, this is what we've always been taught, and this is what the religion, and even from your side, like being from Golfrin and from a completely different area, that the beliefs are slightly different, but more or less the same. These are the things you've always been brought up to believe, that if you die, you're going to Balrus's embrace, and you're going to be there with the sun god.
To the land of the sun.
Mm-hmm. But as you're sitting there, and the both of you, with your 21 insights, like at the same time, there's just something that, like that light bulb just goes off in your head, and you're like,
Oh,
what
big
he
scam.
what he experienced and what you've been taught, two massively, massively different things, and like they go off in completely different directions. Is there really truth to this? Is what he saw just a fragment about it? It's hard to tell, but with your 21s, you definitely glean the fact that what's being taught in the church, and at least from what Corin had experienced, massively, very, very different.
So we get the sense that it's not true. So like that Corin wasn't just like a fluke. That's probably what people see after they die, I guess.
That's the thing about religion. It's like
We're not sure.
Yeah.
you're never 100% sure, but this is the moment where you're really beginning to question.
No, I can't have the creeping inklings of doubt. Cease. Is this what you saw, Corin, when you first perished?
This is what I saw when I was
Or
gone for the longest point before you reincarnated me.
I see. So do you think that these gems, and I take my glove off to show the one in my hand, do you think that that could have anything to do with maybe what happened after you died?
I'm not certain. What do I think, Matt?
Because you saw like a tree and stuff, right?
Yeah. Going with your 21 insight, there's a definite possibility, considering the connection of the dream seed and the dream roots and the cult of the dreamer. There's a definite possibility that that crystal affected what you saw and may have given you part of that vision that you had seen. But at the same time, there's also the religion side where before that you saw nothing. There was just nothing. And after the vision, there was really just nothing. So, you know for a fact that what you saw was real.
Yeah.
You also are now starting to question whether or not this church in general really has the answers they claim to.
Let's just say that I trust my senses in what I saw, and beyond that, I cannot guarantee that anything that the church tells you is actually factual.
Well,
I mean, we know that there is something that exists because clerics, of course, wield divine power, but if someone can change their viewpoints so egregiously as people have done and still maintain their power, then what does that say, you know?
Oh, we're back onto this conversation.
Basically just, if they can go from worshiping, somebody like Joran or the Father or whomever to worshiping, the Dreaming Tree and being like, yeah, let's do this thing. Who knows? Because they kept their power, so.
Yeah, I reckon the church has been fully infiltrated, but we still got to find the proof of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in regards to myself, I'll worry about it later. Let's push that off into the deep recess of my psyche.
So as
really within Ichabod's mind, I'm a tumor, I'm a tumor, I'm a tumor, I'm a tumor.
Yeah, pretty much.
The doubt has begun to seep in, but I'm not going to acknowledge that.
So as Ichabod suppresses what's weighing on his mind, for the rest of that time, like Blaznir and Lapis, after you're finished doing your cleaning chores and that sort of thing, you're escorted back to the cell that is your room, that tiny little cramped space with 3 beds, and you're told that you can spend the rest of your evening in prayer and meditation and reading the books that are provided to you, and that's kind of it. Ichabod and Corin, you more have the run of the temple. There are monks that are there that are kind of moving about and doing their thing, but apart from that, like as long as you're not obviously breaking things or making trouble, they pretty much leave you alone. So
Benefits of being a man.
Yeah, it's hilarious that the high figure of this religion is female, and yet, you know, the nuns are the ones doing all the chores, and
It's because they think they're more important. They're doing all the
priests are just like, yeah, you guys can do whatever you want.
They're just hanging out, drinking.
Well, I mean, that's not exactly accurate.
It is definitely more lenient.
Yeah, well, but there's also reasoning behind that. A convent is meant for just prayer, worship, living a life of celibate seclusion to spend all your time worshiping and focusing on your God. So that's why there's the convent life is very rigid and very structured, and mostly chores, worship, study. That's it. Because that's what a life of a nun is. And actually, if you look at the life of the priests, are pretty much the same thing. Worship, chores, ministering to the people, wash, rinse, repeat. But the difference why those three have less freedom is because they're new initiates, while as you two, you're just pilgrims who are showing up and being flashy and grand. So that's why there's a difference between them.
That's fair.
I'm not sure that there's anywhere else in this temple that I really want to look at. We went to the Father Durst's office. We checked it out. Didn't find anything incriminating.
There was nothing in the library out of place except for this book, which I have pored over some, but...
Yeah, I kind of think we've seen what there is to see, and as much as I enjoy their company, we're going to have to get into that nunnery and solve the mystery from there, I think.
Were we told that there would be somebody available to speak to if we needed some information, like from back at the conclave?
Like, what do you mean?
I mean, like, if I sent them a message, would there be somebody that I could send it to that would be able to give me information?
You're not a member of the conclave yourself. You're kind of a subcontractor, but you're also the magic user for the conclave member. So so you have a little bit more of it than some. You do have the name of Lapis's handler, the person who gave you the mission and that sort of thing. That person would be your point of contact, really.
Okay, then I would like to cast a sending spell.
Okay, let me pull up their name real quick. Okay, so you're reaching out to your Lapis's handler, whose name is Fribbs, Hencook Fribbs. Yep. So what are you wanting to? What message are you sending them?
Basically, Fribbs found strange spellbook in library belonging to Rivden Drax. From the Institute, or the Spire, whatever the proper name that they would know it by would be. Do you have any information on who this is?
Okay.
basically just, I don't know who this guy is, and obviously I as a character know that there's a bit of a divide between the Arcane Institute and the Conclave, but even somebody who has been in the Conclave for a long period of time or in the city for a long period of time might recognize the name more than I would. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sure. And you're also correct, is that while, yes, there is a pretty big divide between the two of them, the Twisting Spires always has a problem with the Erudite Conclave because they hoard information. But they're still very well known. They're two very rival factions. So, absolutely. Now,
Awesome.
You have a few minutes. There's like about a 30-second pause, and then you hear a voice reply. Message received. Will investigate this Rivden Drex and see what we can find. Will reply before evening's end.
Awesome.
Cool. I do have kind of an idea of something I can do since we're about to go to bed. I would like to cast Detect Evil and Good. And then I will go on a nice, lovely little stroll about this temple.
Okay. Tell us about Detect Evil and Good.
Here, I'll pop it up for you. So for the duration, I'll know if there's any aberrations, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of me, as well as where they are located. I also will know if there's a place or object within 30 feet that has been magically consecrated or desecrated.
Okay, so you cast the spell and you begin walking for around the temple. Now, you do know that the spell is blocked by a foot or more of stone, and so the walls are kind of thick. So you do know as you're walking that it's not penetrating most of the walls or the floor or the ceiling. But as you walk around, you start looking, and from what you're able to determine in those 10 minutes, you do not detect anything of that nature. But towards the end of those 10 minutes, you do make it into the grand chapel of the temple and start walking towards the statue in the center. As you get...
That pool.
Yeah, in that big pool of water, which you can actually see on the map if you walk over there.
I can only see the library, so I...
Oh, well, so you should actually be able to move through. Yeah, like if you move your token around, you should be able to see past it, but it's okay. There's actually doors that now open and close, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It shows me
Pretty sweet.
a locked door. I'm not sure which direction I should move.
Yeah, I'm just moving you. It's fine. Just so you kind of have a visual of it. When you get to this area and begin walking around the statue does ping from your spell. You can tell that the area of the statue and the pool has been consecrated.
Holy water.
The pool itself is indeed full of holy water.
I would like to take a vial. Take a vial of holy water.
Do you have a vial?
I believe I do.
Yes, you can absolutely.
Potions.
So yeah, you can take if you probably have an empty potion bottle that you can sit down and fill up with holy water.
Okay. Might as well get something out of my spell.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah, but
on that note,
no fiends, celestials, or undead.
I guess that's good news, ain't it?
It's news.
All right, Squire. I want you to polish my boots, and let's go to bed.
Well, yeah. So, the two of you are able to make your way back to your chamber, which is a room on the second floor. As for Lapis and Blaznir, after you are returned to your cell from your chores, you're given some reading material. It's mostly books on Jorun. It's actually very similar to the books that Ichabod and Corin were perusing during that time. Is there anything in particular that you're wanting to do before bed?
I want to do something. Have we reached out to Ichabod and Corin at all? Like, have we talked? Told him anything about what's going on?
Tommas contacted Corin in the morning and just reported that they had successfully infiltrated, but that's about it.
So I want to either me write a letter or have Tommas write the letter about just what's been going on. When we've been here. What we found, and then I'll summon a non-flaming form of Cayenne using wild shape for the find familiar.
Okay.
And I'm gonna send Cayenne out to just give the letter to Ichabod.
Okay. So you assume that Ichabod is there at the temple, but you don't know quite where it is. So what I want you to make an investigation check with Cayenne. Because
does it help that Ichabod snores really loud?
well, this is more. He basically has to let Cayenne teleport outside, fly around to the building, and start looking in windows to try to find you
without getting noticed.
Yeah. So then that's the other thing. So I also need a stealth check.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a bardic inspiration.
I'll allow it.
Investigation. I'll use bardic inspiration for that one. And stealth check. That roll?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a 14 for... Oh, there's the dexterity. 14 for investigation and 10 for stealth.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a little animal running around.
It's a red panda flying.
He doesn't fly. He
doesn't fly? Oh.
No, he's...
Oh, okay. So he's...
He's not...
Is he still able to... Are you still able to teleport him?
As a familiar, yeah.
Okay. I got you. Okay, I understand now.
It's the Find Familiar spell.
Got it. Okay, well, okay. I understand what you're doing now. So, yeah, you can poof him out on the other side of the window and let him go running around. So he has to... Does he have a climb speed or anything like that?
One would assume, but...
I don't know what stats I would use for him. I'm just using his normal stats. So
that's what you would do, is use whatever's on his character sheet.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have a climbing speed.
He should. Red pandas can climb.
They sure do.
Yeah, I mean, you climb trees, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not too. You know what? I'm just going to say it does. And actually, yeah, I think a squirrel does have a climbing speed in this game. But we'll just say that Cayenne can have a climbing speed. That way, I don't have to make you do another unnecessary roll. A 14 is enough to find Ichabod. He comes climbing up the side of the building, using some ivy and foot, just little grip points in the tuck pointing of the wall, the stone. Starts looking in windows. Eventually spots Ichabod and Corin. Ichabod snoring. Corin probably sitting in a chair reading a book.
He has earplugs in.
Mm-hmm.
Cayenne's gonna just go onto Ichabod's chest and start batting his face, just lightly.
Oh, sure. Hand the letter to the paladin instead of the 20 intelligence wizard.
Ichabod
So-
doesn't wake up for
So I imagine Corin just opened the window, Kyan jumps through, runs straight over to Ichabod, starts smacking him in the face.
Yeah, what?
Those are the instructions I gave him. So
Corin, there's a wild animal in here. All right. I tell that it is that sweet little red panda boy. And I go, oh, it's Cayenne. You got a letter? That's a good boy. And then I scratch him behind the ear. All right. I read the letter.
And Blaznir, you just said is basically just letting them know what everything you all found as you were going throughout the day.
weird things we found.
And also about how she almost told me about that one thing, and then the person's like, no, stop. We've been doing this since we opened.
Okay,
Okay.
so we have the knowledge about Blaznir getting talked to by Mother Dominica, confirmed cult member.
Yep.
All right, interesting. I would like to draft a letter back to him.
Okay. What are you wanting this to say?
So I would like to tell them that we are supposed to have a tour tomorrow after midday services, and that would be a good time for us to meet up, and hopefully we can give our tour guide the slip. Or maybe they'll even pass us off into your tender love and care if we're real lucky.
Okay. Well, you write this letter and
Find anything on these guys, but they have some damn good beer.
I will add to the letter because I at least want to ask Tommas if he knows the name Rivden Drax. And then at the end of the letter, I'll sign it with burn after reading.
Yeah, I want to say that I dictated this to Corin. So Corin had to write it because he's my squire.
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and take our break, and when we get back, return, we'll find out what happens the next day here in this infiltration. Stay tuned.
Good to know.
And we are back. When we last left off, Blaznir, Lapis, and Tommas were left alone in their cells at the convent to, study and meditate and do all that stuff. But instead, Blaznir sent his familiar with a message to Ichabod and Corin, letting them know what had happened throughout the day, what they had found so far, the oddness of the rituals that they practiced, and the information about some things some of the people have magic on them, and that altar also was magical. And I misspoke at the last episode. I realized and said that the statue and the thing was had enchantment magic. That's not enchantment. I think the one that moves, it's alteration, I think. Or it's either that or transmutation. I always forget.
Transmutation is like changing one thing into another thing.
Yeah.
So it's not transmutation. No, transmutation is changing the one thing to the other.
Yeah, but I think transmutation is also like teleportation stuff.
Let's see.
Conjuration. No, I'm pretty sure because things like anime objects. Things like anime object are transmutation. I thought.
Yes, animate object is transmutation.
Is transmutation? Then it would be transmutation.
Oh, I don't like that. Wait a minute.
Great. It's one of those statues that gets up and attacks you.
So we can fight somebody. We can fight Jorun himself.
Fight the statue.
Yep, definitely. That's what it is.
Throw hands.
I draw my sword. I'm kidding.
But anyway, so throughout the evening, Corin, you were able to look through Rivden Drex's spell book and take a measure of what was there. The first level spells that were in the spell book are Thunder Wave, Ray of Sickness, Absorb Elements, Ice Knife, Magnify Gravity, Find Familiar, Jump, and Longstrider. And the second level spells are See Invisibility, Earthbind, and Invisibility. Do you do anything with these with the spell book throughout that evening? Because you only have to sleep for 4 hours, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do, of course, remark on, oh, crap, he's got magnify gravity. Because that's not a thing that people should normally know.
Yeah, Dunamancy is not widely practiced.
No, it's not.
Also, you're towards the end of the evening, right before you actually have to sit down and do your meditative trance. You do get a message in your ear, a sending spell. You recognize the voice of Fribbs, who is a non-binary gnome. Fribbs says, Drex was a student from 1195 till 1220. Primary study, Dunamancy and Divination. Joined Conclave 1222. Sent to Federation for research in Gentler Waste. MIA.
Oh, burned. So, can
they mention who his master was?
That's the limitation of sending was 25 words.
25 words, got it.
Yeah, so that's why they that's all they were able to say with the message, with the sending spell. You are able to obviously reply if you wanted to.
Should ask for a description of some sort, even if they have to wait till tomorrow to send it to us.
Yeah, puzzling, possibly frightening. If possible, soon, description and who his master was.
About 3 minutes later, another sending comes into your ear. Drex, gnomish male, currently 75. Master, Horgik Corin, Horgik Korin. And you would know that is the divination. What that teacher? Professor. The professor of divination.
Did you say he studied divination and dunamancy?
He did dunamancy and divination. 3'7", black hair, brown eyes, large nose. And that's all they're able to send.
That's fine.
Gives us something to do in the temple while we're hanging out, looking for somebody.
You said black hair and what color eyes?
Brown eyes.
Okay. Cool.
I guess I don't really say anything because I am back asleep.
Yeah.
Morning.
Yeah, I can tell you in the morning.
Fair enough. Do you do anything else before you go do your trance and all that, Corin?
I mean, obviously I'm going to flip through his spellbook a little bit. There's not really anything in there that I'm interested in learning. I'm just looking to see if there are like any notes written in any of the margins or anything weird.
Nothing that like stands out to you.
Okay.
Like it's just a standard spellbook. I'm sure all wizards take like notes and things like that while in working on spells and that sort of thing. But there's nothing in relation to the current mission or that sort of thing that comes from that's in the spellbook.
Do I know much about his master at all?
Make a history check.
Sure. 19.
You know that he's a dragonborn. He is a copper scaled dragonborn. You know that. You know that he's been with the Twisting Spires as a teacher for about 40 years. You probably have had a few of his classes, or maybe audited one or two during your time. He's just your typical researchy curmudgeon wizard type.
Gotcha.
Other than that, there's not a whole lot that's interesting about the guy.
Okay.
Okay. Blaznir.
Still
Oh,
there
go ahead.
Currently?
Yes, he is. He is still a teacher there. Blaznir and Lapis, do you after Kyan returns to you, Blaznir, do you try to do anything else throughout for the rest of your evening?
Good question. I want to do something sneaky, but I don't know what I want to do. I just want to do something sneaky.
I just want to be naughty and get in a fight.
Yeah, I don't have any goal in mind. It's just like, oh,
You guys
Blaznir's
found out-
going on a panty raid.
We found out where some of their offices are.
sure. Let's see. I only have one wild shape left.
Detected magic from Sister Mary Clarence, her altar, the statue on the altar, and the 2 candelabras, as well as 3 of the cultists. And then there's the courtyard where the tree is. You got a lot of options.
Well, I'm gonna do the tree stuff tomorrow because I don't have to speak with plants yet.
I mean, you don't have to do anything. You can all just go to bed. I was just giving you the option if you wanted to.
I also have in my note, it says the other group discovered the locations of Mother Superior's office, Ibec Aver's office, as well as a balcony over the altar in the main chamber, and a balcony on the 2nd floor, which leads into Ibec Aver's office. Info.
I mean, I'm down for sneaking around, and then, if we get caught, be like, so sorry. We had a bathroom emergency. We were looking for the bathroom.
Emergency together.
Is this not where the bathroom is?
What Lapis's sneak bonus is on her character sheet, and then what her deception bonus is on her character sheet.
Jesus.
Hey, Matt, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, I have Pass Without Trace, so.
Are the two of you also are you out loud talking about this and that sort of thing too?
We'd be talking in hushed tones. We're not going to be.
But are you including Tommas in this discussion? Is what I'm asking.
Sure.
I mean, he's on our side, right?
He is on your side. I was just wondering whether or not you're including him on this because he'd have opinions of his own on the subject. So I was just wondering if you're including him or if you're going to wait till he drops off and goes to bed. What's going on?
Hey, Tommas, we're thinking of doing something dumb. Do you want to, join?
If you say that to him, he just kind of chuckles. He's like, I know a group of 5 people that's a lot like that too. What exactly do you have in mind?
Well, you see, I'm kind of getting antsy, and I want to do some sneaking around, and I think Lapis thinks we could find something, I was just going to be like a little fly and just fly around and see what I could see. But,
Genius. Oh, to be a fly on the wall.
No, to be a fly on the wall.
And I mean, that's perfectly legit too. But I also just, how much can you do as a fly?
Well,
I mean, I'm not...
Just getting info, that's fine. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
I feel like that's low... it's low risk, high reward. Is what I'm trying to say.
Fair, yeah.
But if you guys want to come along and, pretend we're trying to find a bathroom at the middle of the night, then... But I can also make us a little more stealthy than normal.
Well, I mean, if you want to be stealthy, I can probably help out with that too.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I've got a +7
in my stealth, so I'm stealthy Ish too.
He looks you up and down and he says, "You're a human, right? You can't really see in darkness."
Me? Oh.
So he's talking to Blaznir. Blaznir's the human.
I did something. I can see in darkness.
You did something and you can see in darkness. Okay.
Yes.
What about you, Lapis?
I mean,
I have goggles of night on, so.
He shrugs and he's going to go ahead and cast darkness on himself. That way he can see. Or not darkness, dark vision. Dark vision, yeah. Just room goes black completely. Screw you all. Now he's going to cast dark vision. But that's going to be it for him. That's it there. And then as far as the other thing, well, I can cast invisibility on two of us.
Okay, which is better out of invisibility and pass without a trace?
Invisibility.
Well, it would only affect two of us, though.
I can be a fly.
Yeah, this is fair. Why don't we do that?
Blaznir could be a fly, and then me and Tommas will be invisible.
Okay. Yeah, you can do wild shaping into a fly. Is that possible?
Question: can you cast a spell and then wild shape, and it would maintain the concentration?
So yes, you can.
Okay, so you could cast Pass Without a Trace if you wanted to, so that they would also be very silent and invisible.
That is a plan.
Cool.
I just have to stick around them, and
they can open doors for you and stuff if there's not a crevice you can fit in.
And I mean, I figure as a fly, Blaznir, if you wanted to, you could ride on one of our shoulders for a bit. And then when you need to actually fly, then you can go and fly off.
I could do that, yeah.
Look, this fly is just hovering. It's not flapping its wings at all.
That's what flies do. But it's not flapping its wings. How can you tell?
Look at it. It's rubbing its little hands together. The fly is not flying. He's just hovering. Drive somebody absolutely mad.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you could if you can wild shape into a fly, because I don't think a fly is a beast.
Well, what else would it be?
What is a fly?
That's I'm looking right now trying to.
Insects are beasts.
Are insects actually is spider beast?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I guess it would.
Shape into spiders. I've done it before.
Also a spider.
Then yeah, I'll say you can wild shape into a fly. That's fine. Yeah, I don't see why not. So, Tommas comes over and places a hand on you, Lapis, and on himself, and mutters an incantation and casting a third-level spell. He's spell slot. He's casting invisibility on the two of us, you and him.
Okay.
And before he does that, I'm going to turn into a fly and get on Shokan's shoulder after casting Pass Without a Trace.
Yeah, you cast Pass Without a Trace. Cast Without a Trace first, then wild shape into a fly and land on her shoulder. Okay.
Yes. That's the order, because any other order wouldn't work.
That is true. So, with that in mind, this map that you're actually on is very much interactive. You can see there's a door there in your room, and if you click on it, you can open it. So you tell me where you're going and what you're doing, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. And then what does the invisibility and Pass Without a Trace do? How do they work?
Well, invisibility makes you invisible, so you can't be seen. Which, from a mechanical standpoint, it means you have advantage on your stealth checks and things of that nature. Doing an attack, casting a spell, anything like that removes the invisibility on you. Pass Without a Trace just gives you a flat plus, plus 10?
Yeah, it's a plus 10, and also it's harder to hear you, and you don't leave footprints around.
There you go.
Nice.
Nice.
So just kind of
That's an automatic
17 for me.
Mhm.
Automatic 18 for me for stealth.
Oh,
18 at minimum.
There you go.
oh yeah. You guys are gonna be so stealthy.
Just the stealthiest.
What's the dex bonus for a fly?
We'll say it's a +6.
+6. Okay.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hey, that's the same as my stealth.
Yeah, so
Alright.
All right, 23. Wow.
Yeah, go ahead and make your stealth checks.
that's one stealthy fly.
That's,
That's 3, you would never see it.
that's
a 28 for me.
But
But that's not as good as.
Tomas with his 35, yeah.
Out of control.
Yeah, everybody hella stealthy as you all make your way out of the room and into the adjoining room, which is more like it's basically just a small living quarters, or just like a communal room. I'm sorry, it's basically a communal room. You know that there are 2 other doors, both of which you've seen before because you've looked in them, that has similar bed setups as the one you're currently in. Most likely people sleeping in them, and you can absolutely Blaznir with your ridiculous passive perception. You'd be able to hear snoring from at least one person in the southernmost door.
Ignoring southernmost door.
Wait,
Wait, so when you say the southernmost, there's a door over here and over here.
And that's yeah. So that's one.
This.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
But we don't have to go room to room if you don't want to. Just kind of.
I kind of want to just go to the important areas. I don't want to go room by room.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but I just kind of want to draw attention to this really cool map that I made. But anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
So
where do we want to start out with then?
that is up to you.
Ooh, that's the question. What is it? What are you wanting to accomplish here? What are you trying to do?
Do we want to
maybe try to go to one of the offices and see if we can track down some of these magical? Do we have means of tracking down these magical items?
You tell me.
I don't. That's why I'm asking.
You guys.
Okay.
But I have to not be a fly
Ager's
for that.
office because she maybe isn't here. I don't think so. So.
Yeah, I mean,
we should have made a plan before this, didn't we?
We probably should have. That probably would have been.
Just be sneaky, you know.
Well, you're hella sneaky.
Sneaky all over the place afterwards.
Speak at being sneaky.
You've succeeded in being sneaky, without a doubt. You are the sneakiest group you could have ever been. 2 people invisible, 1 is a fly. You got this aura of just quiet around you. Now, if only you had a place to go.
If only you had a million places to go.
No, let's go to the. Didn't you say there's a magic item in like the Mother Superior or not Mother? Is it Mother Superior?
Yeah, the Reverend Mother. You saw that she had something on her that was magical. You saw that a couple of the higher-ranking sisters also had something magical on them. You noticed that the statue itself of Tjorun and the altar there was magical. That there are a separate magic auras on the candelabras than besides that, and that's what you were able to see.
Okay. I think let's go to this Reverend Mother's office and see if by chance she's left the item there that we can find it, and if not, we can maybe find other
Clues.
things.
But let's go to High Priest or Reverend, her office. It's a good idea.
And remember, if we could get caught, we were trying to find the bathrooms.
Invisible. We were invisibly trying to find the
Invisibly, they were trying to find the bathrooms.
There's no way it can go wrong.
We've got this. We are sneaky. Everything.
And I mean, that's like 9/10 of the issue, right?
We just gotta be sneaky.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
have
We clearly
invisibility.
split the party up so wrong by having me and Corin be together and you guys be together.
The two voices of reason being by ourselves, and
we're just sitting there talking reason to each other and not finding anything.
It's true. That is true.
All right, so lead us. Where do we go to?
Well, fortunately, since you actually did walk around this this convent all day and it did a lot of cleaning, you know that out the door to your left and leads you to the courtyard. There are a pair of stairs at either side of the hallway over there by the the dining area, and those stairs lead up to the balcony of the second floor. You know that Mother Superior's office is somewhere up there. Did you ever figure out where it is specifically, or do you just know that it's somewhere up there? Did I tell you? That's the question.
That is a good question.
I totally told you exactly where it is.
I told you where the balcony. Wait, I'm thinking about Ivek Avier.
Yeah. Problem is, I don't take notes.
Told us where it was.
100%.
I have in my notes the other group discovered the locations of Mother Superior's office and Ivek Avier's office.
Yeah, see, so you definitely told me.
100%.
Those are my undoctored notes.
Sure. No, it's fine. It is on the second floor. But if you go out the door up to the stairs at the north, up to the second floor balcony, the Mother Superior's office is up there on the second floor. And basically, like you were actually told, I remember telling you, it's literally right above, directly above where your group sleeps.
I could have stone shaked.
If only you prepared that spell. But you exit the common area of your room into the courtyard and make your way out to the northern area, up the steps. You are all very invisible and very quiet. And with those ridiculously high stealth checks, you do spot that there is a nun patrolling the grounds as you're making your way out of your rooms. But with your stupid high stealth checks, she doesn't spot a thing. She doesn't even see you open the door and close it again. She's just walking along. It's a nun that you don't recognize. You haven't seen her before. Kind of a short, very stocky dwarven woman who walks by. But she pays you no notice because she can't see you. And you make your way up to the second floor. Now, up on the second floor, you can see a barrage of doors. There's a lot of them. Most of them leading into either residences or offices. There's offices on the southwestern side. There's storage areas and things like that over there. There's another library. But on the right side, actually right where you're all standing right there, that is the door that you had found out is the Reverend Mother's office and bedroom. You test the door, and it is locked.
Okay.
Is there enough space for me to squeeze in?
Oh
yeah, there you go.
You're under the door, through the keyhole.
Yeah. Probably not through the keyhole, but probably under the door. Yeah, the keyhole.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Yeah, just get through that key horror.
Sorry, we don't have the spell Summon Finn.
But anyway, while you can't get through the keyhole, you could probably get under the door. It is a very narrow gap, so I am going to need a dexterity check from you. But as tiny as you are, you do have advantage on this.
Right. And you said it was +6 for
yes
for it. Okay, I'm just gonna do it like this. And 8 twice? What? That's not a good thing.
Jeez.
That is not.
Smash.
Yeah, you get down on the ground and start trying to push your way through, and its gap is so narrow, and the stones are just so raised that you're unable to squeeze in.
Can you go
smaller, turn into a flea?
Go small.
Lapis and Tommas just sees the fly up off of Lapis's invisible shoulder, goes down to the door, and starts wiggling. Nothing. Can't get in.
Quick, start with the Yo Mama jokes.
I'm gonna clean my hands like a fly, and just sit there perplexed.
Somebody cover him in lard.
Well, Tommas is going to say, "Why don't you let me give it a try?"
Get under there.
Well, no, you can't. You can't see what's happening, but from what happens is, Tommas walks up and pulls some thieves' tools out of his robes.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to
make sure like we don't hear our dear Reverend Mother moving around or anything.
Make a perception check.
I'll join with that.
Do I get advantage
because I'm invisible?
No.
That'd
be a 13 for me. Blaznir hears better.
Wait, what is he gonna hear as a fly, though?
Yeah.
I still get my wisdom.
He does, unfortunately, because he's a druid, and so he's using a wild shape, which makes it a little easier on him. With your 27, you do not hear anything on the other side of this door. You can hear the faintest sound of breathing, you think, but you're not 100% sure. But you can also hear huffing, like heavy labored breathing, coming from below. Down on the lower level.
Like coming from under the balcony and stuff?
Coming from under the balcony. About where back to the north, where the stairs are.
Are we talking angry huffing, or I'm doing something that God shouldn't be seeing huffing?
Well, you're not there, so you wouldn't know. But it's more for Blaznir's perspective. It's more the labored breathing of someone who drinks a lot and doesn't get a lot of exercise going up some stairs.
Can I fly to see what's happening? Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that because you certainly can't communicate to your friends. So you just go fly up and fly over in that direction as Tommas is kneeling down, or not kneeling down. He's a halfling. So he's just standing there and begins picking at the lock. Let's give him a check real quick. Of course. Damn. You hear Lapis, the sounds of and then you hear Tommas curse under his breath. God damn it. Blaznir. Oh, hold on. Blaznir, at the same time, you had flown over to the stairs to look down, and you do see that the dwarf nun walking up the stairs with her little lantern.
The patrol?
Yeah, the patrol.
Person? Okay. That's fine.
What were you saying, Lapis?
I was gonna as Tommas cursed under his breath, I was gonna reach out and try to. I'm assuming I can't see him either, but like kind of reach out in his general direction and pat him on the shoulder, like, "It's okay, guy, you got this. You can do this."
You hear his voice, and he says, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Just bear with me a second. You see him bend down, or you can't see him, he's invisible. But he bends towards the keyhole, and he's trying to look through it to see if he can see on the other side. Blaznir, do you do anything as the dwarf is coming up the stairs?
Oh, just, I can't see my friends.
Yeah, but you know about where we were, so you could just kind of...
Glad you guys haven't moved off. I'm just gonna fly back towards the door, and, I don't know.
Fair enough. Well, it's not long. What's your passive perception, Lapis?
12.
Yeah, I'd say that's enough to see a light coming from the stairs behind you.
Again, I'm gonna reach out to where, like right by the door, try to feel for Tommas and kind of tap on him.
You try to make an investigation check.
Oh.
That's a 4.
Yeah, you do not find him at all. He is not there.
Well, crap, Tommas left me.
I think you might have teleported inside the room.
At least you didn't fall over and crash into something making a bunch of noise.
This is true. But, I mean, she was just, like, feeling around. But anyway, Lapis, you do see the nun starting to walk up, and she's coming in your group's direction. Do you do anything, or do you remain where you are, or what do you want to do?
I am going to stand at still AF. And be sneaky AF. So I'm going to stay there, I'm not moving.
Okay, Blaznir, are you doing anything?
See. I mean, I'm probably just gonna, start climbing around on the wall.
Okay, so you're a fly. You're a lot harder to see. But both of you give me stealth checks with advantage. Plus, your pass without a trace. So you should, unless you roll a nat 1, I think you're going to be fine.
31.
37.
Oh yeah, without issue. You watch as this dwarven woman just kind of walks by, goes down to the end of the area, open a door. Step through, look around a little bit, step back, close it, and begin walking her way back past you again, and over towards the other side. When she gets to right about here, you hear a voice whisper from behind you. Okay, the coast is clear. Come on in. And you look back to see that door is open just a crack.
Okay, I'm gonna slip right on in and, slowly, quietly close the door behind me.
Make me another stealth. Nah, I'm not going to worry about it. You rolled a nat 20. Anyway, inside the office, you see a small but comfortable space. A tall desk with a few books on it, and an envelope and a small smattering of papers. It has 4 drawers on it. Behind that, you can see a row of very carefully cared for potted plants. Blaznir, you're a druid. You can recognize that most of these things are very simple medicinal herbs used for potion making or salves and things of that nature. As you kind of start moving about the room, you can see that there is a wall here and a door towards the back end. There's also a second door going south, one going south, one going west. And that's kind of it here in this office. So what would you like to do?
I definitely want to check out this desk. Like, kind of search throughout the desk, like all the drawers and stuff.
Okay. Tommas is going to come over and help you with that. So go ahead and roll with advantage.
Okay.
Blaznir, what are you doing during that time?
Let's see.
So,
23.
all or nothing today.
Yeah. So Blaznir, what are you doing during this time?
I think... you said there's 2 doors down here?
There are 2 doors, one to the west and one to the south.
Alright, I'm gonna try to see if I can squeeze under one of them. Perhaps.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
Investigation?
Yeah, you're looking to see if you can get through past one of them.
That would be my intelligence, which is that 14.
Okay. With your 14, the gap to the west, you can easily get underneath. The one to the south, that might be a little trickier. You're going to have to give it a try.
All right. I'll go west first.
Okay. Well, while you head to the west and make your way underneath it, it's a big gap, so it's not hard. On the other side, you find a bathroom.
Oh yeah.
How much dark vision do you have? Because I just realized your token doesn't have it.
Yeah, 120 feet.
There you go. Now you can see.
See normally in darkness. I think that's... Is it dim light? Or is it just... Is it a...
You can see normally in dim light and darkness as though it were dim.
Well, because this is a devil sight instead of dark vision for the Eldritch Adapt. And it just says you can see normally in darkness.
Oh, then yeah, you can just see normally in darkness. There you go.
So, no disadvantage in dim light then.
Mm-hmm. As for, while Blaznir is checking out this bathroom, Lapis, there's a lot of stuff in this desk. Papers galore, things from reports on tithes being collected and work being ordered to missives from various congregants and things like that. It takes you a while to start going through this, but with your 23, there are quite a few things that you find of interest. The first thing you find is that at the bottom drawer on the right-hand side, there is a hidden compartment in there, a false bottom. You lift it open and you find a small iron-bound chest inside of it. Behind it, you find a green leather-bound book. And this book is familiar to it because you've seen one like it. It has a large medallion in the center of it, embedded into the leather, with the motif of a great tree, with large spanning roots and huge limbs that spread outward past the edge of the medallion. In the center of it, there is a door with an eye, shaped to the side, looking out of it through open doors. You've seen this book once before, or at least a version of this, because it's not exactly the same. It's one that the necromancer you first encountered in Mistspire Mountains had. One that Fontaine had particular interest in and kind of had some issues with, as every time she read it, it would basically drive a psychic lance through her brain.
Oh yeah, good old-fashioned brain blasting.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. Ichabod doesn't care for that, though. No thanks.
I'm trying to decide if Blaznir does.
But if Blaznir wants to become a lich,
That's kind of the thing, like...
brain blasting.
There...
Make an omelet without crackers.
If you want to be a lich, you gotta take the brain blasting.
It's true. You do. You do. Now, other than underneath the book, you find a piece of velvet wrapped around an object. You lift it out I imagine you just kind of lift up the velvet a little bit to see what's inside of it, and there is a large, jagged, serrated blade. The blade itself is completely black, onyx black. It has a slight glassy appearance to it. The handle itself is a kind of off-white color that at first you think is ivory, or possibly maybe bone. And at the end of that dagger, there is a motif that looks like just a big-ass eye.
That's not ominous at all.
There's also 2 black candles wrapped up with the dagger.
No, it'll only be ominous when the dagger blinks at him.
Yeah, this is fair. I mean, I'm tempted just to pocket all this crap and look at it later.
That's just what you found in the hidden compartment.
Yeah, in the hidden compartment. I mean, I for sure want this treasure chest. Or this little
it's a lockbox. Lockbox.
Lockbox chest, same difference. But no, I for sure want the lockbox. Probably the book. I don't know if we necessarily need the dagger and the candles, though.
I want the dagger.
Dagger, okay, I'll take the dagger too. Why not?
Well, as you're lifting these things up, Tommas kind of puts a hand on you and says, "Wait, 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm just going to point out that if these things go missing, she's going to know about it the next time she goes looking. Do you really want to take them right this second?"
The voice of reason. Okay. I reluctantly, I put it back, making a mental note that these are there.
But would that really cast suspicion?
Actually, I'm gonna look at Tommas like, any chance you could open this lockbox? Check it first for traps, then possibly open it.
I can always give it the college try. But, yeah. Go ahead and set it down on the table. I'll take a look. And he'll take out his lockpicks and see if he can open this lock.
Check for traps first.
Yeah. First check for traps. As far as he can tell, no traps. However, with that 17, he starts working at it. And he cries out, "Ah, fuck!" and you look down, and there's a tiny pinprick on his finger. He begins to immediately look extremely sick. You can see veins start picking up and going along his finger, coursing down his hand, and he just looks down at this. And
Okay. Is he either blinded, deafened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned right now?
Do you have any way of knowing?
Yeah, do you have any way of knowing?
You can just attempt the thing that you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
You actually have that. That's
So go ahead and read it.
So it's just the touch. I can administer greater cures with a touch. When I use Hands of Healing on a creature, I can end one disease or one of the following conditions: blinded, deafened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned.
Okay. So this is a good thing for him. You're going to have to use your Hand of Healing on him, so go ahead and roll the hit points for that. I still haven't rolled the damage, so I need to do that real quick.
It's only 2 healing, but he's also not. I'm assuming poisoned.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he took a shitload of poison damage. 49, in fact.
Well, actually only 47.
Yeah, actually only 47. He's not dead from that, which is a good thing. But he is severely sickened. But then you reach out with your Hand of Healing, healing him for 2 points. But then that healing energy, the healing energy of your chi, flies through him, pushing through his body, and it's able to clear out the conditions that were there, which was poisoned and paralyzed. In fact.
They go out flying for him. That's nice.
I'm going to say he probably also... No, he wouldn't have turned invisible again from that.
But can I get under the other door?
That you're going to have to make a dexterity check.
Sure. D20 plus 6. 9. Nope.
Nope. You fly down and you're trying to push past it once again, but how are you not getting above? Anyway.
2 and 3.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no, you're unable to get out of that. What is your passive perception, though?
28.
You would definitely be able to hear, as you're trying to push your way through the door, that there is the sounds of light rhythmic breathing on the other side of it.
Not waking up from Tommas.
He wasn't that loud, and you still have the Pass Without a Trace on.
That's dampening sound.
Yeah, that's why I didn't make her roll a perception check for it, just because you had that.
Okay.
But he looks at you all and... Ow, that really hurt. Yeah, that's a bit more than my skill at lockpicking is gonna get through.
Okay, well, we'll put back for now.
I'm gonna fly in front of his face and try to trace out you, okay?
He sees the buzzing and like his eyes are kind of dilated still a little bit, and he's like, Blaznir, I don't know what you're trying to tell me here. Could you just
Blaznir or just a different random fly?
Yeah. Now, Tommas, since he was helping you, Lapis, there are other things on the desk that I haven't talked about yet. Quite a bit of papers, in fact. And I'm just going to give you the gist of it. There's been some changes made to to the convent here in the last couple of years. There had been some work done on it, and some of the papers that Tommas finds details a little bit of this work. There is apparently a catacombs underneath the convent where the nuns are all interred, and other faithful types are also interred there, that needed expanding. And so they hired a group of what is put in quotes, local workmen to do these tasks. Glancing at as he goes through the numbers, he also points out that the amounts paid for the work that was done is quite a bit more than probably would normally have been paid for this kind of work. Either that or the expansion that is listed on these sheets is much, much bigger than what's detailed here.
I wonder what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, strange.
Yeah, I know. Strange and suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
There is also a missive from Ivik Abir, mixed in with the files on top of the desk, which speaks of the great undertaking. It basically, in a nutshell, it says that the great undertaking will soon be begun. We have located all that we need, and what we still do not possess will be in our grasp within a matter of weeks. We have already set out to the final the intended site, and we will begin final preparations as soon as the last objects are within our possession. It describes a location, and Tommas is able to recognize these things as a member of the Conclave. It is a location to the south of Ranivika, about a 4 days journey from where you all currently are, which I'm going to go ahead and pop up the map for you.
The details.
So if you look on the map, you can see Ranivika Keep to the northern part of it, right there on the edge of the Margarden Federation. As Tommas is reading this out and kind of glances at it, he looks at you all and he's like, I'm a fucking idiot.
Yes.
Of course it would be at the Umbra Spire. Why wouldn't it be? That's where they think the tree came from. That's where they think it would originally stood. Of course they would be going back to its source.
So this is like smack dab in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, smack dab in the middle of the desert.
Okay, cool.
The Umbra Spire, if you look at that map, is that giant-ass mountain there in the middle of the desert.
Big mountain. Well, shucks.
So that's what he is able to gather from that. He also finds quite a few more pieces of paper that he picks up and he folds and tucks into his robes. He tells you that there's a lot of talk back and forth of Ivik Abir coming here, meeting with people, and it lists some interesting names here. The Conclave is definitely going to want to know about this. Unfortunately, he also tells you this is good stuff, but this doesn't prove how much the cult is infiltrated. It just proves that the Reverend Mother is a cultist and is working with Abir, and at least now we know where Abir is probably going. But I think we're definitely going to need to know more.
And have I pretty much thoroughly searched this desk? Then there's nothing else of note.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's just a lot of day-to-day runnings, information and documents and things like that isn't really pertinent to your investigation.
Yeah, I don't care about that crap. Anyway, so well then, I guess we're gonna have to go to the Spire thing at some point. But as far as in here, I'm gonna put everything back where I found it. Again, making mental note where this box is, so should we have the opportunity before we leave to grab it, I'm gonna grab it.
Okay.
And maybe some of the other stuff that's in there too.
Now, about this time is when both you and Tommas become visible again.
Oh, yay.
Wait.
You've been there for over an hour without Kudab.
Yeah, it might be time to think about heading back.
Yeah, I agree. How long does Pass Without Trace last?
It's probably gone. Let's see. Most likely gone. Yeah, an hour.
Yeah, so it is gone as well. Tommas says, I think we've got some good information here, but we need to keep an eye on the Reverend Mother. Follow her, try to figure out where she's going, what she's doing throughout the day. She might be able to lead us to more information. But then again, there's also Abir's office.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to... Would he be able to use up another spell slot and invisible us again?
Because, I mean, then we're going to be going to sleep and getting all of our spells back. Well, I mean, I don't have spells, but, you know.
That depends on if he has a spell slot. It's kind of...
I do have another spell slot that I can use, but after that, that's really going to be it. So I do need to use my last one to send a message to the Conclave.
Okay, fair.
Well, then, if he can't turn both of them invisible, then I can teleport someone to the room, or teleport me and someone else to the room.
How are you going to teleport to the room?
I have a dimension door with my cloak, or with my cape.
That is true.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do we want to do? Do we want to go to Ivik's office, or do we want to because I mean, we said we're going to be here for a while, so we can still have time another night to go there.
You certainly do, and it is getting late.
In one day.
Yeah, it is getting late as well. I mean, you do know that it's probably well past midnight by this point.
Okay, I think it'd be
a better idea to call it a wrap for tonight, and then continue investigating tomorrow night.
Okay.
Do you agree, Blaznir?
I'm a fly.
He's a fly.
Yeah, but okay, fine. One buzz for yes, two buzzes for no.
Kind of a constant buzz. It's.
So it's one long
buzz. Rub your hands together once for yes, twice for no.
We're going to say that, well, regardless, Tommas is like, I think it's a good idea. Let's head back to our room. Let's not press our luck too far.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling that great right now. Not to.
Mm-hmm.
But I also healed you. That should have helped.
+2.
It really, really didn't. And I mean, he's still in his hat of disguise, so he doesn't look it at all. But he's pretty jacked up. That took more than half his hit points away. So he's definitely down to just let's go back to bed. So he's going to expend one more third level spell slot to recast invisibility on the two of us. So I'm going to need everybody to make me one more stealth check, just at advantage. We don't get the plus 10 this time, unfortunately, because Blaznir's still a fly.
He's fine.
That'd be 13.
All of his bleeding was internal. That's where blood's supposed to be.
I almost did persuasion. 17.
Okay. Lapis, you just succeeded in, as you're all walking out of the door and making your way towards the stairs, you see the dwarven nun making her way back towards you up the stairs once again. The two of you plaster yourselves against the wall and kind of suck in your guts and wait as this woman walks by. And for a second, she gets so close to you, Lapis, that you can feel her breath on your face. But she passes underneath you and does not notice you because you just beat her passive perception.
Jesus.
Yeah. But fortunately, you did get past her. And you're able to make your way back downstairs, sneak into your room, and close the door.
Good deal.
Once you're back in your rooms, Blaznir, if you want to, you can change out of a fly or you can stay in there. It's up to you. Tommas says that I'm gonna cast Ascending before going to bed. This is definitely interesting information. And he cast the Sending spell to inform the conclave that the cult seems to be heading towards the Umbra Spire. Now, unfortunately, those of you who know anything about history would know that the Umbra Spire, big fucking mountain in the middle of the desert. So there's a lot of ground to cover, but it's giving you a direction to be pointed at. So that's a good thing as well.
Always.
You all get a long rest.
Oh, wow.
Hell yeah.
Probably needed that. Tommas definitely needed that. But all of you wake up once again the next morning. It's a bright and sunny day. The two of you, Corin and Ichabod, are able to breakfast with the monks, of course. Lapis, Blaznir, and Tommas, the three of you, breakfast as well with the nuns. For those three, the day is pretty much identical to the previous. The moment you get up, you go to the chapel, you have your hour-long prayer session. From there, you go to breakfast, eat your meal, and then from there, you're sent out to the garden and have to work the garden all day. Ichabod and Corin, you have options. Nobody's going to wake your ass up. Yeah, nobody wakes your ass up. You're not a member of the temple there. You're just people staying. So it's really up to you what you want to do. The monks will definitely feed you. But apart from that and the fact that you know that you have to meet up with with the priests to go on your tour at afternoon or after afternoon mass. Blah. Other than that, the day, the city, and everything else is yours. So, what are you wanting to do for your morning?
So if they have like a morning, okay, so they have breakfast in the morning, and then they have a morning service. Is that right?
Yeah. For your part, yes, they have their breakfast in the early morning, and then they have a prayer service as the sun is rising, that sort of thing. That's the morning mass.
Yeah, I would like to attend both of those, and at both of them, I want to keep an eye out for somebody who matches Ripton Drex's description. So looking for gnomish guys, 3'7", black hair, brown eyes, large nose.
Okay.
To see if maybe he's here.
So you can definitely do that through both the so you said you wanted to do it at the morning mass and the afternoon mass?
Yeah, just anytime we're here, like I feel like throughout this day I would be checking around to look for this guy because that's really the only lead we have. And we've learned that he was of the conclave, so that's interesting. But if we have time after all this kind of normal stuff, then if Corin wants to go out into the city, we can do that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So, you have time between the morning mass and the afternoon mass, if you wanted to go out into town at that point. So go ahead and give me perception checks with advantage, because I'm sure you're having Corin help you as you go through your morning mass.
I have a +3 to perception. What do you have, Corin?
+6.
+6. Can I help him?
Sure. Why not?
15 for the first one. Second one is a 24.
Okay. Yeah, you for both masses, you're spending your time looking for a gnome with that general description. And while there are some gnomes that might vaguely fill the description, none of them fit them perfectly. For both masses, you look around and yeah, you're not seeing a gnome that fits that description perfectly. There's there's gnomes living in the city. That's what I was trying to say. There's gnomes living in the city, but none of them perfectly fit the description.
Yeah, nobody in the temple or any of the.
Yeah, none of the monks are gnomes that look like that. There's a handful of people that live in the city who are gnomes, but they're not the guy. He is not in this area.
I'm kind of all right. If we get in a hallway or something, I'll pull Corin to the side and say, "Corin, I'm getting real tempted to interrogate that Butters. I need you to tell me if that's a stupid idea or not."
Probably, but
it doesn't have to be a cruel interrogation of any sorts, just like a little poking and prodding.
I mean, it depends on what exactly you're trying to get out of him. You don't want to blow your cover.
Of course not, but maybe we could say something like, "Oh, we had a friend come through this way, fellow pilgrim. His name was Drex. You know anything about that?" And then just read his face.
What if he asks you about Drex? You don't really know anything about him beyond what I've told you.
So why should I need to?
Because he's a friend?
Yeah, he's just a, friendly acquaintance. Just curious about him, It's just an idea. We're not getting anywhere with anything else, so.
Trying to think if there are any good spells for the purpose of being able to see what's underneath this church.
It's a little out of my realm of possibility. But unless you've got any plans for something you want to do out in the town, it's always possible that this Drex is here in town, but I get the sense he's probably either dead or he's been brain blasted into a
Might
cultist.
be a decent idea to check just in case.
Mm-hmm. So, what's your plan? I gave you my plan.
I'm going to look around town, see if I can't find someone who looks like him, or at least some way of potentially seeing what lies beneath this church without actually having to go down there.
So maybe we could go out onto the grounds? Or are you saying looking for a spell to learn?
Like looking for spells to learn, and also possibly just seeing if I can find him around town.
Okay, so sounds like we have a little bit of time before we're supposed to go get the tour. So in that bit of time, we'll just kind of go into town, into like the shops and stuff, and survey.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is montage time.
Yeah, this is montage time. Not a lot. We're going to kind of skip through a few things. So, which one are you going to do? You're going to town. You're not interrogating Butters. Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Suggest it as an idea.
Okay. So you make your way after your morning mass into town. Ranivika is a relatively decent-sized city. It has a large keep in the center of it, ringed by a smaller wall, and then the city itself has another much larger, wide wall around its circumference. It's kind of an ovular-shaped city. Most of the stonework is really dark brown stone. There's quite a bit of marble and granite as well. But other than that, just that dark brownish stone for most of the architecture of this city. Go ahead and give me one more perception check with advantage, since the two of you are working together.
25. Hell yeah.
Yeah, 25. You make your way towards the marketplace, and you're scanning the area around. For one moment, you do spot somebody who fits that general description. Black hair, brown eyes, gnomish, around 70, mid-70s or so. And you walk up to, and you spot him in the marketplace, going about his business. He stops at a fruit stand. He buys a few apples, and then makes his way on. Do you approach him, or do you just watch him?
Follow behind.
Yeah, let's.
Okay, go ahead. Are you like you're just kind of following behind him, being just casual and that sort of thing, or
Yes, attempting to be inconspicuous.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me deception checks, both of you.
I'm gonna re-roll that one.
I got an 11.
I
improved mine to an 18 with a chronal shift.
Okay. The gnome walks along the market stalls. He stops at another place and begins buying vegetables. He doesn't spot either of you. You're all just kind of melding into the crowd, pretending like you're shopping as well. He spends probably about 30 or so minutes buying up a few general goods, vegetables, flour, that sort of thing, beans. And what's that?
Does it look like he's buying for one person, or more like shopping for the actual convent?
He's buying more food than one person could eat, especially one of his size. Just like as a roundabout guess, like he bought 4 apples. So it's possible maybe he bought it for 4 people, or he bought it for 4 days.
Ichabod gets increasingly impatient, and then I am gonna just walk up to him.
Okay. After the market, he was making his way away from that and towards the southern side of the city. And you just boldly go over and walk up to him?
Oh yeah. Ichabod has no patience.
Okay, I mean, he's just walking along carrying like a basket full of stuff.
Okay, I'm walking up behind him and I go, "Hey friend, Drex, is that you?" And see if he turns around and just try to read his face.
You can tell he hears you because like his ear perks up, like what, and then he does one of these looks, like look right and left, like, huh, and then he just keeps walking.
Okay, so can I roll an insight? So it seems like he doesn't recognize that name or anything.
Yeah, go ahead and roll an insight check.
26.
Oh yeah, it looked like he thought someone was yelling out, and he was like, who's yelling? But he just kind of shrugged it off and kept walking, as though like, yeah, he assumed it wasn't toward him.
Okay, so he didn't recognize that name. Does he have anything on his that he's wearing, or like a ring or a necklace or?
With that 26 insight out, he's wearing very basic clothing. He's just like a commoner. He's just some dude that you walked up on. He's not wealthy. He doesn't seem like he has any money about him. He's not wearing jewelry or anything like that.
I'm just trying to get a glance on something that he might wear every day, in case I wanted to find him again.
Like, everything he's wearing looks like it definitely has been worn quite a bit. His boots are like seriously worn down and cracked a little bit. The shoes or the coat and pants that he's wearing are kind of threadbare.
So it's quite possible we stumbled upon a gnome who just happens to look similar but is not the guy.
That's what it sounds like, but
yeah.
You know, I mean, I can...
With your 26 insight, I'll just let you know that you're pretty sure this is not the guy you're looking for.
Cool.
Because yeah, we're looking for people who could have been like memories erased and stuff. So that's why I'm like, I don't think it was. But yeah,
I mean that's entirely possible. But I mean, could this person's memory have been erased and he's wandering about not knowing that's his name? Sure, that's entirely possible. It's not outside of the realm, but I'm just saying, like, he doesn't look like a wizard type is all I was trying to say.
I'm not going to continue with that that line of inquiry.
Okay.
It's not going to lead anywhere. So I'll just stop and look at Corin and go, well, we tried our best. Maybe we'll find him in the catacombs.
Now, the other thing you said you were looking for was a spell or something like that. What were you trying to do that too?
I don't actually know what spell as a player I would need, because I'm just trying to look around and see if there's any sort of spell that I could use to try and view what's underneath the church without actually having to go there physically. But
I mean, I don't know of any spell that could do that either. So, like, you're walking around the marketplace, there's like blacksmiths, there's market stalls, there's things of that nature, but there was definitely not a shop that says wizard spells that can look through places however you want to do it. Like, yeah.
Not.
Yeah, so I mean, unless you have a specific place.
I looked at clairvoyance, but that only lasts 10 minutes, so I don't know how much use that would be for us.
What about Arcane Eye?
Why is 10 minutes not, like, what are you looking for? Something that'll just last forever? Like,
no, just like, you know.
It's not enough for you to get a glance in there for 10 minutes?
Ooh.
Like, clairvoyance is exactly the spell that you're looking for.
Arcane Eye actually seems pretty good because it lasts for up to an hour, and there's no costly material component.
And also, Clairvoyance says you have to be familiar with the location.
It says, or an obvious location, such as beyond a door, or in the basement directly below me.
If you were actually there, I guess, yeah.
Would I be able to try and look for Arcane Eye?
Roll an investigation check.
Sure, it's a 4th level spell.
That's not what you're investigating for.
18.
in the couple hours that you've spent walking about town through the marketplace, chasing after the guy, walking back, you have not seen any place that's like just an arcane spell store.
Okay, that's fine.
Like you know that that you can buy typical. There's magical archives at the Twisting Spires. There's an archive in the Erudite Conclave and things like that. But like there aren't just stores that sell every single spell out there. Now, if you want to try to go to places that might theoretically have one and hope for the best, you can do that. Like there's bookstores, there's a pawn shop there, but
I feel like you'd more likely be looking for a wizard.
Yeah,
who's got it?
Advertising that he's a wizard, and then you go and you say, "Hey, can you make me a spell scroll?"
Well, do you know of any wizards in Rani Vika?
Well, no, but that was the looking.
I mean,
around.
what about the guy whose house we teleported to?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Isn't he a wizard?
He was a wizard.
His name is in my notes.
So I would like to at least try and knock on his door.
Oh, Master Truss.
Master Truss. Master Truss is in Rani Vika, so you could go up there and ask him for that. It is 6:00, so I'm actually going to have to find his character sheet to see what spells he has available. But we can take a look at that, and I'll let you know over the week, and we'll pick up here next week with Ichabod and Corin heading off on their tour, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you to everybody who watched today. We very much appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us as we continue on with this investigation into the Cult of the Dreamer and the Convent of Jorun. Tune in next Monday at 3:00 to find out what other insanity the Debauchery Circus gets up into. And all that. If you're enjoying our show, please follow us here on Twitch and subscribe. If you want to help support us, you can. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can subscribe there as well, and hit that little bell to get notifications whenever we add new content. If you're watching us or listening to us on podcast, likewise, you can subscribe to us through whatever podcast you're listening from. So, once again, on behalf of everyone here in the Debauchery Circus, I just want to say thank you for watching, have a great evening, and we'll see you next week. Good night.